On the agenda, that's it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeremy.
You have it on the tab at the top, right? The top right. Keep it to the right.
I just gotta move that guy over. Okay. There we go.
Live streaming's going.
Second page, that's why it's on the second page. Okay. Okay, just let me know when we're ready.
It's live streaming, so you can start anytime. You can start, Benedict.
I can start?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Tonight is the executive board meeting on Thursday, January 18th, 2024 is the first executive board meeting of the new year. And we're here at Community Board 11 office. So we are going to first start with, if everybody could look at their screen to see our code of conduct. Everybody take a minute to read it instead of me reading it out loud. Okay, we're going to move ahead. I want to welcome everybody. We do have a quorum. And I want to welcome everybody here to the first executive board meeting of Community Board 11 for the year 2024. Tonight we have a few issues to discuss. We'll first just start off with introductions. My name is Bernadette Ferrara. I'm the chair of Community Board 11.
Al D'Angelo, vice chair.
Veronica Castro, treasurer.
And Malcolm
Malcolm Gray, Sergeant at Arms.
and Hazel.
Hazel Mira, secretary.
All right, thank you. Okay, we are going to start with a review of our last draft minutes. And I know that the email was sent out with the draft minutes. If everybody can remember back to July. I know I reviewed this.
Just so everybody's aware, it has been on our website more than 24 hours in advance. So if you want to vote on this later when we come to motions, you can.
So there was a motion here. So I make a motion to approve these minutes. Do I have a second?
In a second.
I have a second with Al. Does everybody approve, or is there any abstentions? Any oppositions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes to have this not be a draft and to be approved. Piggybacking onto the subject of minutes, one of the things that I found a process was what I sent out to all the board members. Looking back on the review of 2023 with just the executive board, I wanted to make sure that I had all my agendas, that I went on to my calendar to make sure there wasn't any last minute cancellations of my meeting. And then I went on and was kind of surprised to see that the only 2 minutes that were on were June and July, which is not a good thing. Follow-up is very important. And it's something that for my meeting here with the executive board, I will follow up with all of the minutes, and I will follow through to make sure that they get written in draft, that they follow through to the staff and that I see them in final posting on the website. So I just sent that out to all of the board members for just a checklist and a process so that everybody can follow through with their own committees, the chair and the co-chairs along with your members, because it's something that we had discussed throughout the year. And especially in September, when we brought it up in the executive board, or I think the leadership meeting, with actually assigning a secretary to each one of our committees. Now, we left that as an option for each one of our committees so that it's up to the chair and the co-chair. Either they could just assign a member, or they can actually have somebody be the secretary to actually go and make sure that we have a follow through. So I'm just encouraging everybody to follow the checklist, customize it, whatever, just use it. Okay, so that we can follow up with 2023, going into 2024 with a better process and procedure so that each one of our committees has their minutes, follow through, and make sure that they're posted on the website. So that means if they're not posted on the website, make a phone call to Harriet, to Chris, to Jeremy. Say, okay, where are we at with it? Send out an email, say you have any questions on it. So that's what the follow through is. So I urge everybody, every committee to do this. So, and I urge myself to follow through with the things that I'm asking everybody else to do, and I will do it. I'm going to jump around on this agenda. Okay. And only because the stuff that was put in new business should really be number 3 before we get to the gallery, so that the gallery can respond to whatever is being discussed. And let me just ask if there's anything that the administration, the members here have any questions on or want to jump in, please feel free to jump in. I'm just following the agenda. Okay. All right. There was questions on the ULURP, items and the process. I basically had a question, and I had emailed Toon of City Planning. And it was really questioning if Community Board 11 needed to address the gaming text amendments. And there was a response that was just sent out to everybody. I apologize for the lateness of sending out that email, but he did respond a second time. So bottom line, he gave a lot of explanation, which I'm not going to get into. We don't have enough time. But bottom line is Community Board 11 doesn't affect us. So we do not have to respond. There was, from the public, there was a question. Well, the borough president said that all 59 had to respond, but Toon said that he doesn't know what Manhattan community boards dealt with, but that for Community Board 11, we did not have to have a public hearing on it. We did not have to address it. So I am basically taking his suggestion, since he's the man that knows a lot more than I do with city planning. So, and if anybody wants to read the email, you should have gotten it in your, all the board members should have gotten it, and the public. If there's any question, please give Jeremy a call, just say, please resend it. Okay?
Malcolm has his hand up. Malcolm has his hand up.
Oh, yes, Malcolm.
I did see that email it kind of worried me a little bit because I mean, is Tune suggesting that we will never have a situation in which a casino will be in this district? Because I understand we don't have one currently being considered, but you know that wouldn't stop somebody down the line from possibly opening one. You know what I mean? I don't know if it would behoove us to at least try to look at it a little bit closely to see what's going on there, just so we could take some type of precaution and not wait till after, because we never know what a person's business interests might be down the line at some point.
No, if it's not gonna hurt, it's not gonna hurt to take a look at it, but, and we can. But priority wise, since we are not affected by it, priority wise, maybe we can have a public hearing next month in February where we can discuss it and, you know, have city planning understand and get more detail on it. But right now, our priority right now is really with the city of Yes. And since we do have a deadline with that, so it's something that we can, if you want, we can have a public hearing next month. I mean, how does everybody else feel about that?
Fine.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So we can have a public hearing next month. We can ask, we can coordinate it with city planning and get more details on it. Okay?
Ryan, Roxanne, if you want to go on now or.
No, we can call on them now, yes, because it's probably discussed with regards. Is this in regards to what we're discussing, Ryan?
Yeah, I just, what I
you
understood from Tim's email is that we are not affected by this because it's only for this amendment's only for these 3 casino licenses. Since there are none being proposed, he said any other future licenses would be under a separate amendment or a separate law. So that's probably why there's no reason for us to hold a hearing on this one.
Okay.
Roxanne.
Roxanne, RD.
I'm sorry.
Roxanne.
Thank you, Chair and Committee. I'd like to say it does affect us. First of all, the casinos proposed in neighboring Community Board 10. But let's not discuss what is a casino on that issue. The fact is, if we allow them to circumvent the ULUP process for Community Board 10, if ever it's proposed in Community Board 11, then it will open the door to do the same when it happens to our district. And more importantly, this sets a very poor precedent where they could also one day include shelters, buildings where they were allowed to circumvent the ULUP process, which was mandated by the city charter because the community wanted to have input with what is built and how it's built in their community. So this is very important. And by the way, I'm very surprised by the Bronx City Planning response because I have to say he is 100% wrong. And I'm following up with the headquarters because in Manhattan, the city planners said at their presentation at several boards that this was going to be voted by all 59 community boards, regardless of where there's a proposed current casino proposal, because this will change a citywide amendment that was created by the city charter, the ULUP process.
Yes.
So this is why this is not about whether you want a casino or not, or whether it's next door to you or not. It's the fact that they will circumvent the community process input for casino, for a gambling gaming facility. But what's next? A homeless shelter, a building. I mean, we should not open that door to that Pandora box. So I'm asking this community board, and I will get more information for the city planning, but wait 1 second. I'm asking this community board to do, I know you're not mandated to do any public hearing for any ULUP process, but you should. This community should have advisory input on how this will affect us currently today and in the future. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Jeremy has his hand up.
yeah, Jeremy?
I just put in the chat that maybe we should reach out to CB10 for their position on the matter. Based on what Ms. Delgado said.
But it's not just a CB10 issue, it's a citywide issue.
I'm sorry. I think you're done speaking, right?
There's no need to be rude. This is why there's no need to be very rude.
Since you,
Guys,
Roxanne.
let's
I'm
not,
just making,
not a
I'm just
discussion right
correcting
now.
something. I was just correcting. This is not a CB10 issue only. There's
All
other
right.
proposals in other districts.
If you want me to respond to that, I will, but otherwise.
No, I'm asking,
Everybody
I'm
needed to.
clarifying my
All right,
position.
okay, we're not going
wait,
back and forth.
I'm not going back and forth,
Roxanne?
but listen, I went on my
Yeah.
way to get a lot of phone calls and emails, not just today. But for weeks, I've been going to the city planning meetings and other boards regarding this gaming facility, not because I'm against a casino or for a casino, because it's actually, just like they overturned the will of the people with term limits, they're overturning the people's community process, your process.
Roxanne,
So
time
why
out.
allow, this is what I go through all the time. I get the
Alright,
information, but no one's
Roxanne,
interested.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get it. I also know, Roxanne, I'm not going for a back and forth, but I do know that Toon did respond to you by email, and I read, he did give you an explanation, and he gave us an explanation about, it didn't, there's an understanding. Yes, it doesn't impact us, but yes, we should find out what community board 10, since they are directly affected by it. But we should also, since it's not a priority, have a public hearing to discuss it and see if there's any questions on it. Okay, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As far as, we should probably take a vote on that. with
Yeah,
the
I understand, but
administration.
I called city planning downtown and they said that
I'm
response
not
was not
asking you for your
accurate.
response.
I'm not asking for my opinion. I'm asking you that his response was not accurate, but you don't want to hear that. So that says that you don't want to hear what's really the process. If I went on my way to get the information, why not even be interested in it?
I feel like, we got it, Roxanne. Can we move
Okay.
on?
Again, this manager will make another complaint about him because there's no need for him to have his input.
No, you're disrupting the meeting at this point. Please stop.
If anything
Okay.
I do is a disruption to you, and that's where the bias is.
Can we mute?
I don't have to.
Yeah, no, I gotta make you a co-host. I'm sorry about that. I usually do that, but
Okay,
I will do that right now.
Yeah, it seems, just also listening to what Roxanne is saying, this may be something that the community at large may be really concerned about, especially as right next to us. So I will agree that next month a public hearing will be feasible. I guess just to understand a little bit more and to even work with CB10 to see what their process is looking like, just in case we have to deal with that down the line. But yeah, that's about it.
Thank you.
all right,
Okay.
so, all right, as far as doing a public hearing, we can discuss that in leadership also.
Well, do we have with the City of Yes Committee, that, would they be the ones to set up the public hearing?
I'm sorry?
We have a committee that's handling the City of Yes, right? So would they be the ones to set up the committee, the public hearing?
No, this would be land use. This is a text amendment. This is more than just city. This is not specific to City Yes. Am I wrong about that? Or is it only specific to City of Yes?
No. This
That's fine.
Yeah, it's not of the city.
Oh, sorry, I saw a City of Yes next to it. I didn't realize there was a comma, sorry.
Right,
Okay, well, so land use would be the ones to set up
right.
the hearing.
Okay, so land use
Excuse me,
will set up a public hearing.
Let the committee set the date.
Excuse me,
What?
please.
Committee
Excuse
set
me.
the date for the public hearing.
Monica?
The
Yes.
committee-
Committee.
Yeah, land use committee. will
Let's
set
go
the
to
date.
that- let's go
Okay.
to that, Wilson.
Yes, it is, Jeanette.
Wow. She looks so
Okay.
cute.
Okay, so we're gonna go on to,
We had-
I just want to make everybody aware that there is going to be a City of Yes meeting on January 22nd at 6 o'clock, from 6 to 7, before the Ethics Committee here in the board office. Okay, and that's going to be reviewing what was discussed in the January 10th meeting and also looking at the maps and coming up with specific suggestions to bring to the full board for recommendations. Okay, so that's an important meeting. I just want everybody to be clear what's going to be said in that meeting. And next, I don't know if everybody received, I know that by email, there was intro 586 talking points. This was sent to the community board. This is just, I just want to make everybody aware to read it, to be aware that it's on your radar to read it, and we will do a vote at the full board meeting. There will not be a vote tonight. Okay, I just want to put it on everybody's radar. Yes,
Quick question. I remember reading something probably within the community board handbook that we're not supposed to take sides on specific legislation being considered. I think there's the lines of probably conflicts and stuff. Can we look into that to make sure that we're not taking in a vote that may be illegal first?
I can address that if you want, Bernadette.
I, Yeah.
I believe Community Board 10 did send a letter supporting the mayor's veto of the bill. I believe, I'm not sure.
well, Jeremy, you got your hand up?
So, yeah, Malcolm brought this to my attention not too long ago. I did a quick search on the handbook. I couldn't find it, but we did receive an email back a while back to some effect, and that's maybe where he get it from the BP's office. So I'll follow up with the BP's office.
Okay.
I'll do it now while I can, while I remember, all right? I mean, I'll try to search for the email too, but in the
I
meantime,
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
just
remember
follow up with
reading
an
that.
email.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, and also, if you could find out, get a definite on CB10, and maybe what the other boards are doing.
I think.
yeah, I'll reach out to 10 right now too. All right,
Okay,
thanks.
I think that in all fairness, if we're gonna have talking points for the support of the mayor's position on this, we should also have talking points for support of the legislation and those city council members who support this legislation.
Right.
So that everybody knows exactly what is happening here with this legislation.
That should be in a discussion.
Yeah.
That should be in a discussion, so if we.
Okay,
Should be discussion, it should be.
do you have, Christine, do you have the talking points
I
on?
could get them, I'm sure
Can
you
you-
can Google it and get them quickly.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so that we have both sides of the coin. Okay, so Christine's gonna get, the talking points, the other side of the coin. And so everybody will have both sides of the coin and can have more factual stuff and make a decision for the full board. There's no voting on this tonight. Okay?
I,
So
th- I
it
think
is-
I think that's where a lot of my concern comes from too. In reading, I have to read how to find the legislation, but it doesn't seem it might be in our best interest to do such a thing, right? Because for me, this seems like a very politically charged. I'm not saying that you're politically charged at all. I'm just saying that this is an issue that would be very politically charged, and it could split the board, right? I'm not too sure if this is a move that we would want to make within our community board capacity.
I think
You
if it's.
understand what I'm
an-
saying?
something
Because
that's gonna-
something like this, normally you have to go to a public hearing process. You hear from the community speaks, come back to the board, we deliberate, then we come from a vote. We're not going through that type of process here, right? It just seems like we've gotten some communication from the mayor, and he's expecting us to vote a certain way, or to come out and support when we could do so in our personal capacities. If that makes any sense.
I think if it's something that's gonna impact the community, we really should discuss it. And
Yeah,
that's-
absolutely. And I don't disagree with that. But what I'm also saying is that, for example, the city of Yes or for the Metro North, we have public hearings, right? We hear from the community board, but we're not going through that process. We're not having a public hearing on a specific issue. We are deliberating upon ourselves, and we're coming up with our own suggestions, recommendations, but the community is not having much input on this issue. It doesn't seem like an official issue. I don't think that's something that we should personally touch, right? Because it will be politically charged at the end of the day. I'm not too sure it's something that is in our best interest to do.
Is there a timeline on when we have to vote on this?
No.
I think that anybody's asking us to vote.
You can make a proposal to discuss it, to bring it up at the full board meeting. And at the full board meeting, we can discuss it and then vote on it.
Yeah, no, I was asking because to Malcolm's point, maybe we should put together a public hearing if it's something that important that we
Yes.
may need the community feedback on.
I don't know what kind of, that's a good question about the deadline. The necessary deadline, and as I'm reading through this.
If somebody can find out when the city council vote is gonna be, or when the mayor's gonna.
Reach out to, city council member, I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring forward, Riley's office. He's signed on to the legislation, to ask more questions about it.
I think,
Amanda Farias.
Something at City Hall tomorrow.
what?
There's something at City Hall tomorrow at 9 o'clock. It's gonna
But
be
you
a
don't know.
rally in support
This
of
is
the
the first
mayor's
time.
proposal, from what I understand.
I think we need to send an email or have a email to Alina to see. Again, to get more facts about when this is being voted on. I just need to get more facts on this.
I'm sorry, it's already been passed in the
not-
city council.
Who's this?
Roxanne, it has already been passed by the city council pre-approved.
Intro
Yes.
586 has been passed?
Yes,
Council.
it's law. Look at the city council website. It had 30 votes in favor of it.
So why are we,
Because they want the mayor's, the mayor's against it. That's why.
okay, all right, so the full process of, so in other words, this is what the mayor is asking from the community
And the
boards.
Bronx DA also does not support this legislation. She's also against what the city council recently passed. It was on News 12 just last night.
I have a suggestion, Berna.
I don't know what the best process for this is.
Jeremy said he has a suggestion.
Who?
Jeremy said he has a
Oh,
suggestion.
Jeremy, go ahead.
So this is why, like, in some ways, I think this is why I try to put the gallery before motions. Ideally, we discuss everything, and then anything that's pertinent or crucial that comes from the public, it's that way it's orderly versus just letting people speak whenever they want. Because remember, we have another meeting at 7 o'clock. It's already 6:40. I can reach out to Alina to find out if there is some type of rally or whatever going on tomorrow. For those of you who are interested, it's up to you.
I
And I think reaching out to Kevin's a great idea too.
The rally tomorrow at City Hall, I believe it's at 9 o'clock.
Do you want me to try to get that in writing from Alina?
Supporting the mayor.
I know that civic associations were reached out to in support of this, and this was going back in December.
Jeremy wants to know if you want him to reach out to Aaliyah to find out if you want it in writing.
And how many civic, excuse me, how many civic associations were?
Brian, hold on,
I don't
hold
know.
on 1 second, hon.
What?
We don't know how many were contacted.
Excuse me.
Well, I think right now I think we need to reach out to Elena. and
Yeah,
get more-
that's what Jeremy was
Yeah.
asking, if you want him to reach out and he could get it in
Yeah.
writing when the rally is and other information.
Yeah, we need to get it in, so we're gonna reach out to Alina and get it in writing.
Okay.
Exactly where things are at, if tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, what's going on at City Hall.
Thank you, Jeremy.
I'll do that now. Also, I know that Hazel doesn't have her camera on, but I think there's an exception to the open meetings law with cameras on if you have a disability of some sort. No, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe you do need your camera on. I don't know if Hazel can do that, but yeah, I know because people bother me about that stuff a lot, about no cameras. But the only people that need to be here tonight, because a few people, I think, showed up thinking that this is a full board meeting, or mean they're required to. The only people that are required to attend this meeting right now are the 5 officers of the board. the elected officers, Burnett, Al, Veronica, Malcolm, and Hazel. Or whatever order it's in.
I'm on bed rest right now, so
Yeah, so
Um,
there's probably an exception to her.
I can
So
put
just-
my camera on and you'll just see my ceiling because I
Spice
can't
it
hold
up.
the phone the way I'm
I
playing.
think Hazel definitely has a what you call it. She has an what's it called again? Exceptional.
medical
Yeah, yeah. She'll be exempt from that.
disability of some sort.
All right, so
I'm just saying that because there are other people who attended tonight thinking that they're required to be here and they're not.
what was that?
There
You
are
don't
other
think they-
people from the board that are present that thought they were required to be here tonight, but they're not, because it's only the executive board members that are
Right.
required.
Because
So
I
that's why you
literally
just
got a
explained.
text from somebody that I need to turn my camera off just to do whatever, and but they don't need to be here.
That was me, Susan Perez. I was just trying to be,
Yeah, no, you didn't have, I don't want to name names.
but you sent us an email to join, so that's why I'm joining. But okay, I'm going to get off so I can have my cup of coffee and I'll be back at 7. Everyone have a great night.
You can stay if you want, though. You don't have to have the camera on either.
Guess we have a gallery session for that.
Right,
discussion.
right.
Okay.
Right, so, okay, so,
Do we want,
okay, we're gonna go into the gallery session now. Okay, even though we did have some of the gallery session, so we have to time. What is our
Got it,
timing?
got it.
2 minutes?
2 minutes?
You got it?
All right, you want to start with anyone in the room?
Yes.
Anybody in the room want to speak in the gallery?
Anybody in the room? No?
No, so we can, if you want to speak in the gallery, please put up your hand so that way we can put some order to it. Right now, the only one that has their hand up is Roxanne.
Okay. All right, Roxanne.
For the gallery session, we're
Yes,
timing.
I'd like a
it for 2
30-second
minutes.
warning, please. So I just interjected to inform you that the city council passed that law, a veto-proof vote, 30 in favor. And then I get lambasted by your district manager, and I actually save you time because I figured why discuss something that's already mute. So I don't appreciate his unprofessionality, and I'll do another complaint. Thank you so much. Father, I leave my-
That's it.
Okay.
Jeremy,
Okay, Jeremy, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, since we're allowing extended time to talk. If people want to continue to malign my character, I will pursue this legally, and I will pursue it if the board keeps allowing it. The board should not allow this. You really shouldn't. And it's not just me. It's board members who are maligned too.
Okay.
Anyone could
Okay,
watch. this
remember our
video,
code
make up
of,
their own
remember
mind.
our code of
all
conduct.
right, enough with the back and forth. Honestly, if it doesn't have to do directly with something that's happening here for the community, let's keep all other
If I'm being
comments.
attacked, I have every right to defend myself.
That's it.
You, we do have a code of conduct, remember that, so if you have something to say about somebody's character, you can make a phone call and you guys could talk about it, okay? But as far as
Any character, that's what just
public
happened
arena-
occurred here.
Public arena, no. Okay, please. And we'll keep muting, please don't, please take your hand down. But it doesn't matter. Is there anybody else for the gallery session? Okay. We're gonna go to, well, do we have, no, there's no motions that were made,
No,
no. Well, the one motion is to approve the draft,
Yeah.
which we did. So there was a motion. So our draft minutes. Okay, so there was one bit of old business, which I did bring up about the agendas, minutes, and follow-up, but also what I do want to, what was tabled in September's executive board, and I'm asking not only the executive board members, but also the other board members that are interested, just to look over our survey questions. Okay, there were some good ones, there were some that weren't. and provide feedback by email. Okay? It was sent out to the public and also to the board members. If you don't have any things that you feel, any questions that you feel were good, no problem. If you do feel that there were some questions that should be in a survey, please just give your feedback. That's all it is just to bring it back into the agenda as old business and to ask the board members to read it and to weigh in. Okay? So as far as that goes, is there any other old business?
I don't know if what I have to say is old business or new business, so I'll just.
Just say it.
It's business, we'll call it business.
So in the November full board meeting, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, there was a motion to remove Chair Bernadette Ferrara and Vice Chair Al D'Angelo from their positions of officers. I was tasked as the next ranking officer to put together a committee. It took some time. It wasn't something I wanted to just do lightly, but I have finally gotten in touch with the people that I've chosen, and I'm ready to announce who is going to be on the committee. So the people that I asked to be on the committee and that have agreed to serve on the committee are Liza Rodriguez, Jeanette Wilson, Hazel Mura, Rich Reynoso, and Joe Thompson. I thought about it very carefully because I want to make sure that these are people that can sit down in a room and have a discussion and review all the information and be able to actually discuss it without any kind of, anger or anything, because this is something that's very, very important. And a decision has to be made, and I think careful consideration for either side needs to be taken. So I believe that these are people that can sit down in a room and actually immerse themselves in what information they're given and come to a conclusion. So I've asked the committee to come and make a date for the first committee meeting, and they will. It's a public meeting because it is a committee meeting, so it will be a public meeting. Once it's announced, we'll put it on the calendar so that way people will know when it's happening. Okay, the process for what they need to do is in the bylaws. I've sent that excerpt to the committee, so they're aware of what the expectations of the committee are. You can find that in the bylaws, our bylaws. It's not very specific on what the name of the committee should be. Actually, it doesn't say at all. Tentatively, we are using the investigative committee because I don't know really what else to call it. I've asked the other committee members if they feel a different name should be used, but right now tentatively, it's the investigative committee. I think removal committee is a little too harsh.
Yeah.
Because we don't know exactly what the outcome of it. This isn't a standing committee, so it's going to be disbanded after this is done and put back up again later if something else should come up. But I wanted something that's not as harsh. So I thought about investigative committee. I'm open to any suggestions on the committee name since we don't have any directive in the bylaws as to what it is. I just don't want it to be anything that sounds like they're out to get people. I want them to be able to sit
committee
there.
members should make, that should be a discussion with the committee members.
I have, when in my email to them, I have told them that
Okay.
it's investigative committee, but I'm open to any ideas that they have to change the committee name. So I did send the email out to them a little late today, and I apologize for that. I meant to do it early in the week, but work got in the way. So you guys have time to decide it, but I just wanted to let everyone know that the committee has been formed, that they will be putting together. So if there is any information or anything that you want the committee to review, you can send it to Jeremy, you can send it to me, or you can send it to the committee as a whole. Either way is fine. I'm gonna try and keep an eye on the committee, I'm not part of the committee, but I'd like to, since I had to form the committee, be part, and that I'm gonna be keeping it in touch with them and see what's going on, just so I know in case there's any issues. But other than that, I'm not part of the committee.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, because it didn't say that I should be part of the committee, it said that I should form
Right,
a committee. So I took that as I'm not supposed to be part of the committee. I'm supposed to put together a committee that can sit down and discuss it and look over the information. But I would like to be able to be a part of not be a part, but to be able to join the meetings and stuff to just see what's going on. And I chose people that I believe would be really good to be on the committee. So I have all faith in them to be able to sit down and look at everything and come to a decision, whatever decision may be. but, so I hope, I know I can't make everybody happy, and there was no way I was gonna make everybody happy with everybody that I chose, but I hope that the board sees these as good people, just as I see them for this committee.
Well, thank you, Veronica. Yeah, that would be under new business.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, if there isn't anything else
I
that,
have
new
something.
business or old business?
Malcolm.
I have something because I got this email while I was on vacation. I know I spoke to Veronica about it since she's the chair of the economic committee. We did receive an email from the applicants regarding Leidig, the cannabis shop store. I'll forward it out to you guys. It's just that it's escaped my mind to forward it out to you guys. But they were pretty much remiss about the entire process. They felt like they were not treated fairly or given the same processes or I guess respect in it to be able to defend or any claims made against them. So I'll forward it to you guys. I'm not too sure. We may want to invite them to the full board meeting at some point to discuss things or meet with them at some point. But they just seemed very not happy with what happened. Because they felt like, we allow claims to be made against them and we use that against them without them being able to defend it themselves or explain what was being made against them. This is
Right,
not coming from me. I'm just
believe
relaying what the
Malcolm-
email stated.
I believe it passed twice, the committee passed it twice.
No, it passed the first time. Then information was brought to the community board. It was reviewed. It was denied the second time, but I guess what Malcolm's saying is that in the email, they were saying that they were not allowed to be present to refute the allegations the time that it was
Or maybe
not.
we should, well, then we could revisit. I think that would only, that's
Well-
my opinion, we should revisit it then, just to give them a hearing.
What, the full
I
board?
agree.
I would assume, yeah.
I mean, yeah, they can present at the full board, but the thing is, the decision,
Before the vote, they'd have to present their side.
but
Because I
Right,
think,
is that what you're proposing?
yeah,
We hear
yeah, I
that
agree.
before we make a vote.
Yeah, I agree with Al. Now that when they sent that email and I had time to think about it, it did feel kind of unfair to them that they weren't able to push back or defend themselves. It just seemed like, claims were able to be made and we just took it as it is. So I'm not too sure how we may want to remediate that, but that is probably something in the future that we may want to fix going forward, because it does seem kind of unfair to them, to be honest.
I just want to say one thing. In the past, when we've had issues with liquor licenses, very similar, we have asked that they come to the full board and have time beforehand to speak to the public before the vote is. So we're trying to deal with the same alignment when it is with a liquor license, with the cannabis, etc. This one seems to have a very familiar ring to it, so.
So just so everybody knows, the letter of objection
I
was
see,
sent,
1 minute.
to the OCM already.
Yes,
We can, and we already missed the deadline
right,
for the OCM, for the referral to the OCM. So we
Exactly.
sent the letter just as asking them to put it on record. If the board wants to do this and have them come in, and if the board, because I must recuse myself from the vote, if the board decides on a different outcome, we can send another letter, but that's at the
but we
board's
passed,
discretion.
yeah,
I think I agree with Malcolm. I think what we should do is give them at least give them a say. I think that's all.
no, I agree. I totally agree that they should
We can
basically.
vote whichever we want, but at least give them a chance to,
No, I agree. I think that's only the fair thing to do. So, especially if they feel that they were not given the opportunity. Okay, Miguel, you had,
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I'm no longer on the Economic Development Committee, but I was part of,
Right.
that situation. And I think actually Serena and I both spoke on the need to have the same standards up, you know, along across the board. And I think I know that I spoke on it and I said that I think that having unsubstantiated information introduced and then us as a committee, you know, as an economic development committee, having already voted for it,
Well,
that really can screw up somebody's,
just so
you know, whole business plan. These
Just
people
so
are like
you
sitting
know,
there
just
like-
so you know, we can send what the deputy director said, even though we have passed, we passed our deadlines. Any letter of recommendation or objection, et cetera, that comes afterwards still gets put in the file or gets put into consideration. So, and we have done this with liquor licenses in the past where there was an opposition about the decision that was made. They came to the full board. They had an opportunity to, in public, give their point of view before a vote. So I think we should follow the same process.
If I could
I think it's only
quickly,
fair.
they are the only one that this has happened to. So I think that's where they're coming
No,
from.
no, I
Like
know.
nobody else, you know, like there should
But
be a
you know,
new
you
hand,
yeah,
because anybody could come up and say, oh, well, this guy's. I-
circumstances,
you know,
there are
the-
different circumstances in different places, just like you have the liquor licenses, et cetera, okay? Different circumstances, you can't rubber stamp everything. Okay, I understand this might be the only one, but this one happened to have a little bit more to it than the others.
All right, so it's settled. We're gonna let them speak at the next meeting.
Yes, we'll let them speak.
And we can revisit the decision.
Okay, we have two more hands up. After this, we have to end it because we have to start our
You did the
leadership.
Gallery session already, didn't you?
What?
Did you do the gallery session already?
Well, we're still in the gallery session.
This-
Well, technically, no, but
Oh,
Jeanette's part of the board if you want to let her speak.
okay, Jeanette, just,
It's just very brief. I just wanted to say that when we made this decision, it was at a public meeting. And it was at a public meeting where this was on the agenda, so they could very well have attended the meeting and then they would have had an opportunity to speak on their own behalf. That's the only thing I wanted to add.
okay, thank you. Okay, Roxanne, I'm giving you,
Yeah,
Not
thank you.
even
I'll
a
make it
minute.
short. I'll make it short, I promise. It was not abstentioning. He actually used a different name. And when I did the reverse looked up, I found out his official name, which is the same name as both owner of the business and the owner of Leidig. This is said by Roxanne Delgado. Everything I have evidence. And when I say something, I could be held liable for. Thank you so much.
okay, thank you. Okay, at this moment, I think I'd like to
Motion to adjourn. Yes.
motion to adjourn. I second.
Okay, Al.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everybody, to come to the executive board meeting.
59 PM.
We're gonna close down and then we are gonna start the leadership meeting. Thank you so much.
You have an agenda for the leadership meeting?